Dudes by physically slipping the coin into the man's mouth, and the creepy ass Undertaker would come fish him out later, probably with bare hands, all slowly and sensual like.
Alright guys, welcome back to another Unorthodox reaction. This has been another Unorthodox intro. I don't know what's wrong with my partner currently. He's just really not in the mood, should we say. He's a bit
card open.
Yeah, so guys, we're back again. Hope you're still with us. And this time we are reacting to
Nella.
Sorry guys, I'm looking for a button I can't seem to freaking find.
Salm or Nella. Dead Buddy Hijinks. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it.
To Dashlane for sponsoring this video.
That's not the right instrument.
Hey kids, whether you're a precocious young lad down by the swimming hole or a grizzled crime scene investigator, everybody's got some interest in dead bodies. Yes, from Weekend at Bernie's to Weekend at Bernie's 2 to Weekend at Bernie's 3 Revelations, stories about wayward corpses have certainly carved their niche in today's media. So, I thought I'd spin a few yarns about some real-life people who were kept out far past their expiration date. Our first tale follows one Elmer McCurdy. He was an outlaw during the twilight days of the Wild West. Thanks to his former life as a miner, McCurdy acted as the demolitions expert to his little posse, using nitroglycerin basically anytime he had the faintest excuse to do so, except he was kind of a moron, so it didn't usually go quite as planned.
Yeah.
Gotta say, after peanut butter and chocolate, my favorite combination of two things is probably gross incompetence and high explosives. Example, in March of 1911, McCurdy's band of rabble-rousers found out that $4,000 were in a safe in an approaching train. They managed to stop the entire locomotive.
You know what? I just feel like they were gonna do? Try jump on the train while it's moving and just try steal the money.
I don't think they're that dumb.
Like, oh no, maybe we can get in front of it and stop it or something.
I don't even know how you do that. Break in, hold everyone on board hostage, and locate the safe. McCurdy steps up to plate, right? Gotta blast the thing open, except I guess the excitement kind of got to him, because he ended up using like way too much nitroglycerin, like inordinate amounts. Ended up completely destroying the safe and its contents, and what few silver coins they made out with were literally melted to the frame of the safe and had to be peeled off. Anyway, he died in a shootout with police later that year, and the Undertaker at the funeral home he was sent to couldn't find any next of kin on account of McCurdy being a rambling low-life varmint, so he just embalmed the hell out of him and said, "Hey boys and girls, want to see a dead criminal?
That's
Only one shiny nickel."
That's
and since
messed
Live Leak
up.
wasn't around at the time, there weren't many places a kid could go to stare at a corpse for a while if he or she so desired. So it actually became a pretty popular attraction. Visitors would pay their dues.
Yeah, them people were super bored back then.
What's Live Leak?
It's like an internet thing where it shows like where all the weird people go.
Is it still
Where you
a
get
thing?
all the where you get all the funny and weird. It's kind of like World Star, but for weird people.
Okay, Live Link, right? Or Leak?
Leak. Yeah,
That's LIVELEAK, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Dues by physically slipping the coin into the man's mouth, and the creepy ass Undertaker would come fish him out later, probably with bare hands, all slowly and sensual like. A few years passed when a couple of guys showed up claiming to be McCurdy's brothers, with a note from the local sheriff to back it up. They told the Undertaker they had permission to go bury McCurdy, so he reluctantly relinquished the body to the men. Except, these guys weren't his brothers. They were just a couple of crusty freaking carnies. They shipped the body off to Kansas to become an attraction in the traveling show. From here, McCurdy traded hands a few more times. At one point, he was exploited for this one guy's film about narcotics. It was like, yeah, this pill-popping degenerate got shot while trying to rob a pharmacy for more dope the other day. The body was super old by then, so people are like, wait, why is he all desiccated and flaky and gross? He just goes, yep, that's what happens when you do drugs, kids. Your fucking skin falls off. Stay above the influence. At some point in his journey, he ended up getting coated in wax and paint to look a little less rotty, before ending up in a warehouse in 1949. Here's the thing, he was in there alongside some actual wax figures, and after spending 19 years in storage, nobody knew he was a real corpse anymore, so he ended up getting sold in 1968 as a mannequin to one Spoonie Singh, owner of the Hollywood Wax Museum. He tried to lend the guy out a couple times during his stay, but people found him too gross or unrealistic looking for whatever purposes they had in mind. So he ended up getting sold again and used as a prop of a hanged man at the Pike Amusement Zone in their Funhouse ride, with zero knowledge that he was an actual dead criminal. It wasn't until 1976, 65 years after his death, that an episode of The $6 Million Man was being filmed at the complex, and a stagehand tried to move the prop around, only to have its arm break off in his hand. He was like, lousy stiff. Wait a minute.
Bro, what would you do if that was you? Like, you got to take like what you believe to be, what is it called?
A prop.
Yeah, a prop down, and then the hands break, and you find that it was.
That's creepy. I'm dropping it.
That's what I'm saying. Bro, I'll be scarred for life.
That's curious. This mannequin's got human flesh and bones inside of it. Wait a minute. The autopsy confirmed what everyone present at the time suspected. By this point, the body was so dried out and stale that it only weighed 50 pounds, which makes me think we should start a radical new fad diet where we just get people to mummify parts of their body. Like, Jenny, guess what? I just lost 30 pounds in 5 days. Wow, holy heck, how'd you do that? They call it the Egyptian cleanse. Anyway, with that, McCurdy was finally laid to rest back in his homeland of Oklahoma, and that film crew's lives were never the same again.
But how did they even like track that was like that's him? Because I don't think they kept records back then of like, this is this person that died.
You calling him a liar? Are you calling him a bloody liar?
Flashback to late 18th century.
Baloney.
There lived a physician by the name of Luigi Galvani. This guy was a big deal. He's the dude who discovered that, hey, animals got electricity in them. And his legacy still survives today in words like galvanize. One of his most famous experiments was the one where he used static electricity to make frog legs twitch on command. Around these parts, we call that the French salute. Haha. Stereotypes funny. Well, in 1803, his nephew, Giovanni Aldini, said, hey, that's pretty nifty and all, but what if we tried it on people? So the city of London was like, hey, now you're thinking with portals. One freshly executed criminal coming up. Aldini gathered a crowd and applied 2 diodes to the corpse's head, causing his face to scrunch up and one eye to flick open. Aldini was a showman though, he wanted some real action, so he then put the current through opposite points in the body, which made the whole thing flail around like Pinocchio in heat. Now today we know he was just exciting the dead muscles, right? But the people who were watching had no idea what was going on, so they were like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking necromancer. Quick, go get grandma, maybe we can get in the will after all. Fun fact, this experiment actually ended up serving as inspiration for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which makes me wonder what other famous novels were based on real life events. Was a white whale ever pursued by a vengeful sea captain? Was there actually a mentally handicapped migrant worker who liked hugging
Bro, I've grown to have friggin' just a tiny bit of hostility for this book.
Half my son, man.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's friggin' always like, it was one of those books that just annoyed me in school because they made us read it. Like, I didn't choose to read it, they just made us read it.
Lenny, George.
Granted, we also watched the movie.
Hook. Is it hook or crook? It's crook.
Crook. I think it's crook.
Rabbits to death? Was there ever a human soul as profoundly asinine and willfully ignorant as Amelia Bedelia? God, I hate her glassy-eyed face so fucking much. I just want to mash into a running waffle maker, be like, huh, isn't that ironic?
Amelia
Grab her by her
Bedelia?
fake fucking head, throw her out of a
Let us
747 and say,
Why
hey, why didn't you shoot yourself
A?
when you had the chance? Get it!
No.
Anyway, one thing we learned today is the
vendetta
importance of
against this book.
reputability. And just as you wouldn't want some dirty carnies jacking your stiff, phrasing, you certainly wouldn't want the same fate to befall your valuable online information. That's why
Phrasing. What are you waiting for?
you need to try Dashlane. Dashlane's been all over the place recently, and
Great
with good
ad,
reason.
please,
In this day,
caught us slipping. Now I gotta appreciate the ad because it actually.
Yeah, I told you, seamless transition.
But once again, guys, thank you for being here. It's been Unorthodox Reactions.
Unorthodox outros.
All right, stealing my word.
Oh,
If you're still with us, we appreciate you. If you're not, we still appreciate you regardless. Hope you've had
like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all the good stuff. Let us know your opinions in the comment below.
Stay blessed, people.
I'll see you in the next one in a bit.